Hello everyone, this is Nick Nat Packer coming to you live from Virginia Beach, Virginia with my video log for Vampire Diaries Season 4, Episode 6. We all go a little mad sometimes. Disclaimer, I have to do this. It was just that kind of episode. Okay? And yes, log's here, which is like 12 pages of summary, because, oh my god, yeah. Before I even start this vlog, I want to put this disclaimer up first. Yes, I am a lifelong member of the Delana camp. I make no bones about that. Anyone who has watched my vlog knows this. That being said, I want to state firmly that I do not hate Stefan Salvatore. Not at all. I like all of the Vampire Diaries characters. Except maybe Rebecca, but that's only because most of the time she sounds like a broken record. I just am not a fan of the Stefan and Elena relationship. That being said, I am not going to use this vlog as an incentive to rub the results of this episode in people's faces. We all have the rights to our personal opinions. Whatever opinion or juxtaposition that I give in this video log is based purely on what the show itself delivers. I base my opinions off of what I see, not necessarily how I feel. I try to keep that out of these logs as much as I possibly can. Yes, if an episode has something really juicy, like season 3, episode 19, with I guess, of course I'm going to say something. It's a big freaking deal. And yes, this episode is something really juicy, but I'm not going to put it in anybody's face because I'm not, mean like that. I base my opinions off what I see, not necessarily how I feel. Stelena shippers have the right to be upset, and you have the right to feel what you feel, just as we do. Believe me, if anyone understands, it's us. We have played the underdog for 3+ long, just tiresome years. You guys got to have everything that you wanted, despite the fights, despite the breakups. You guys got what you wanted. We had to exist on whatever bones the writers would throw out to us. And trust me, it wasn't an easy way. It was a long, long road to get to this point. Point is, I'm not going to use this vlog to gleefully chant, "Told you so, told you so." Am I happy about what happened? You're damn right I am. But it would be incredibly immature of me to make everyone else feel like crap. Therefore, this vlog is going to be as unbiased as possible. Of course, I will interject personal opinion here and there, but I'm not going to shove it down your throat. Any opinion I give on the Delana-Stelena relationship will be based purely on what I have observed on the show and how the characters interact. Nothing more. There will be no face rubbing here, nor will there be any for the November 28th episode. Which, based on previews, promises to be even more game-changing than this one. So, Stelena fans, dry those tears. It's okay. Trust me, we've been crying a hell of a lot longer than you. Without further ado, we all go a little mad sometimes. We open on Elena in the throes of a nightmare. The hunter, or his spirit, anyway, Connor Jordan, is haunting her dreams. She keeps reliving the moments leading up to his death, and then he actually appears to her to torment her. She wakes up out of her nightmare yelling for Jeremy because he actually physically attacks her in her room, and she thinks if he's a ghost, there's a good possibility that Jeremy might be able to see him too, so she won't think she's going nuts. He wakes up and runs out of his room to find her. By now, she's seen Connor Jordan everywhere. He seems to be following her from the bathroom to the bedroom, telling her that she's a monstrous murderer and she deserves to die. She runs downstairs to the kitchen, hoping that he'll disappear. And somehow she's thinking that he might be an actual ghost. And I'm guessing she thinks if Jeremy can see it too, then she'll know she's not going nuts. She goes downstairs. She warms up a cup of. I don't think it's blood because she can't drink blood out of a blood bag yet, so I'm assuming it's probably like hot chocolate or something. Connor appears before her, pale-faced, blood-covered, the same way that he looked when he died. And although he physically attacked her in her bedroom, supposedly to finish the job he started, this time he settles for verbal torment, telling her that she's a monster, she deserves to die. You know, do you know how long it takes the body to desiccate and decompose? I mean, just really just making her feel all sorts of guilty. Fearing for her life and her sanity, Elena grabs a large kitchen knife from the counter and stabs Jordan in the throat. But just as quickly, the hallucination fades away, and it turns out it wasn't Connor Jordan, it was actually Jeremy. That's death number, what is it, 3 now? Yeah, 3. Jeremy goes down, and Elena is so terrified she doesn't know what to even do. He's losing blood at such a quick rate that it's too late for her to feed him any blood, and he dies. He's wearing his ring, so she knows that at some point he will come back. But she's still freaking out because, oh my god, I just killed my brother. At some point, she calls Damon for help, because by that early morning, he's standing there with her, watching over Jeremy, who's lying on the couch. And he still hasn't woken from the dead. Now, this in and of itself, bad sign. If you remember, as the seasons wore on, the more times that Alaric was killed, and good God, was that man killed so many times. Poor Alaric. The more times he was killed, the longer it was taking him to come back. And that was a very definite sign that his madness was quickly approaching. And it does take a little while for Jeremy to come back. He's pretty much out cold. I don't know exactly how late in the night it was when it happened. If that was only a couple hours until sunup, or if it was the entire night, I'm not really sure. But it took a lot longer than what we are used to. And I hate to see Jeremy descend into madness. He doesn't deserve that. He's been through enough. Damon is wondering, hey, why didn't you call Stefan? I mean, doesn't you usually run to him when you have these problems? At least since the transition. Well, actually, before the transition. But she tells him that she doesn't want to speak with or be around Stefan at this point. She doesn't trust him. She's upset with him because he's been keeping things from her, going behind her back with Klaus, and he compelled, apparently he was the one. I wasn't sure if it was him or Klaus, but she confirms that it was definitely him. He was the one that compelled Jeremy against his will. Damon tries to explain that there were definite good reasons why Stefan did what he did, but she didn't want to hear it. Just at that moment, Stefan comes waltzing in the door, and shockingly enough, it was Damon who called him and told him to come over. Wow. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of stuff that both Damon and Klaus do that's completely against character in this episode, and it just shows how much that their characters are evolving and changing as the series winds on. Elena is completely annoyed and none of the least pissed off, but she's so exhausted and so rattled at this point that she chooses not to even fight it. She just didn't even say anything. She acts like he's not even there. Because right now her priority is her brother. She tells him she's going to go upstairs because she's covered in his blood, so she's going to go take a shower, leaving them alone with him. Not long after he finally wakes up, while the two of them are, as always, squabbling. Not really an argument, but just kind of a, why didn't you just tell her? We could have avoided this mess type of thing. Damon is exasperated. Stefan's like, you know what would have happened if I had told you guys what was really going on. Klaus would have killed us all, and that really wouldn't have helped anything. So as she's taking a shower, she starts to hallucinate again, she's seeing blood all over the bathtub. But when she looks up at the spigot, she can see it's just normal water. When she looks down, it's blood. And she's freaking out. She jumps out of the shower, gets a towel, and the hunter's there. Appears again. Starts to torment her again, telling her that she's a monster, she deserves to die. And he starts playing on her guilt about taking his life. Do you know I had a brother? I had parents, a family, blah, 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 and you took me away from them. You destroyed my life. And she's like, how did that make you feel, drinking my blood? Did you enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. And she tries to say that, no, of course not. It's the worst thing I have ever done. But then she gets so angry that he's there and so frustrated that she finally comes out and says, yes, I enjoyed it. Are you happy now? He's like, of course I'm not happy. I'm dead. So she's falling deeper and deeper into despair at this point. She gets dressed really quick after he disappears and heads downstairs to the kitchen. And he appears again. Well, she heads downstairs to the kitchen, and Damon's already in there cleaning up. Very domestic Damon, which I kind of like. Because, Stefan didn't think to do shit. Damon's like, you know what? The blood needs to be cleaned. Trust Damon to have, smarts. So he's cleaning up all the blood, and he's putting the rags in the sink. Or under the sink. And he turns around when she calls to him. But when he turns around, it's not him anymore. It's the hunter again. And he's like, are you okay? What's wrong? And she backs up because she's terrified. Now, while the two of them are involved in that, switch scene to Shea Lockwood. Haley and company, her pack, are partying up, celebrating the life of their fallen comrade. His name is not Max. I think it's Dean. It was hard to hear them the way they were talking. They've been drinking for God only knows how long. And even Tyler is shocked at this point to see this. He's like, I don't even remember how much I drank, and I went to sleep. You didn't. And so they say, well, we're just celebrating the life of our fallen friend, man. He's like, well, can you celebrate at a bar? Not in my house. It's really interesting to see how mature Tyler has become, from when he started in season 1 being a total jackass, and now he's completely changed. Klaus is also there. He has just arrived back from Italy where they uncovered the sword, only to find out that the hunter is dead and Elena's going nuts. So he's partying up along with them, amazingly enough. And he is kind of drunk. I wasn't sure how drunk Klaus could actually get, being how old he is and all, but he's kind of drunk. Either that or he's a really good actor. Tyler tells him to take it to a bar, and Klaus responds that he's drinking because he's pissed off beyond belief that his hybrid not only got himself killed, but also let Elena kill the hunter. Pity party, rain on my parade. At that moment, Caroline shows up, looking extremely ticked off, carrying a box of Tyler's things that he left at her house. Commence the time-honored tradition of returning your ex's stuff, as she promptly shoves the box into Tyler's arms. Caroline looks cold, Tyler is apologetic, and Haley is, Haley, standoffish and bitchy. But I mentioned I really don't like it all that much, but whatever. They give each other the typical matching sets of dagger glares before Klaus decides to get in the middle of it. And this is another shocker. When he sees her at Tyler's place, this actually gives him pause. He's like, Caroline, are you okay? And even though he instigated this by making it so Tyler would have no choice but to tell her, it seems he honestly feels bad that she's been betrayed and hurt. So he decides to get in the middle of it before it gets nasty. He's also, I can tell, he's a bit curious and interested to see how she's taking being betrayed. He actually seems concerned for her well-being. You wouldn't think that Klaus would care, but being this is Caroline. In an unusual display of gentleness, he dismisses his hybrids from the house, saying that it seems like the two of them need some time to sort things out, and their talents are needed elsewhere. The hybrids, I mean. As soon as he leaves, though, that mask of bitchiness that they have up there just goes drops, revealing the elaborately constructed ruse that the three of them are pulling on Klaus. The Forwood relationship at this point is still intact. For now. So, yeah, this is all part of the plan to make Klaus believe that Caroline and Tyler are splitting up because of what happened with Haley, so he won't suspect what they're really doing. Back at Shea Gilbert, Elena is still hallucinating that she's being attacked by the hunter. Klaus arrives, and Stefan meets him outside because he has still not been invited in and probably never will be. Klaus tells Stefan that he knows what's going on with Helena. Apparently, since the five were created using witch's magic, they were also endowed with a curse. If they should die at the hands of a vampire before completing their mission, they will haunt the vampire that killed them until the vampire kills him or herself, thereby completing the mission. Klaus says that Elena is better off under his protection and away from pointy objects, because for someone as emotional as she is, she will not last to the end of the day. She will kill herself. Stefan argues that Elena would never ever do something like that, but Klaus reminds him that you don't know what these hallucinations are like. I do. I've been through this before. The curse was designed to make sure that a vampire would die because of it. She's gonna kill herself. Damon, meanwhile, is trying to talk Elena down, but all she sees is the hunter. She runs from him, bolts for the front door. Stefan refuses to allow Klaus to take Elena anywhere, but when Damon and Elena come bursting out the front door, since Damon was chasing her from the kitchen, Klaus turns, sees her, grabs her, and takes off before the brothers can even blink. Stefan is, what the hell? Damon's, God damn it! Deciding that arguing over Elena being grabbed by Klaus will solve nothing, Stefan decides to search for her on his own while Damon takes on trying to figure out how to break this curse. He calls Bonnie over to ask if she can use her magic to break the curse since it is magical in origin, but Bonnie says, no go, I don't have access to my magic yet. To be perfectly honest, I believe she straight up lied to his face. Whether she realized she was doing it or not, I don't know. But ever since her little interaction with the professor last episode where he put her under hypnosis and calmed her so she could use her magic, yeah, I'm not sure if that was even real. And based on things that happened in this episode, I'm really starting to wonder. At first I thought he was a member of the five. I think he knows of them. He knows who they are. But I think he's more powerful than that. And I have this niggling suspicion he's using her. Obviously, she can access her magic. How much she can is unknown at this point. I can't imagine that she would hide something like this, especially when Elena's well-being is at stake. I mean, if she thought or she believed that she could use her magic to help her, she would do it. But there's the possibility that she doesn't even know she's doing this. I still feel like the professor may be trying to control her somehow, but I can't be certain of it yet. I don't know. It's just look in her eyes. The way that she was talking was like some part of her wasn't there. It's hard to explain. Just some part of her wasn't acting like Bonnie. I think she's hiding. She's either hiding something on purpose or by design. Conveniently, she does, however, tell him that the professor is a who's who of occult knowledge. Conveniently enough, he's in town because he's hosting an occult studies exhibit at the school. Bonnie signed Jeremy up to volunteer, ostensibly to help him get his mind off of things, like the fact that his sister just killed him. Like how easily, it's weird how just bounced back, like just boom. Wow, I got up this morning, my sister stabbed me in the throat, killed me, I came back from the dead. Now I want to go to the school and help with this exhibit. Yeah, no biggie. Even her heart wasn't that good. And look what happened to him. They agree to attend the exhibit, and Bonnie will facilitate a meeting between Damon and the professor. Back at Shea Klaus, he arrives with Elena in tow and dumps her in a very fashionable-looking bedroom with 0 windows. He claims it's to salvage the artwork on the walls, and I think it's actually his artwork because it looks really nice, and it's very reminiscent of the stuff that he drew for Caroline. But it's obviously to keep her from ditching her daylight reign and taking a sun bath, because he knows at some point she's going to get that bad. She tells him it's only a matter of time before the Salvatores come looking for her, but he rebuffs her, saying that by the time that they do find her, she'll either be dead or wishing that she was. By the time the hunter is through with her, Elena asks him how he can be so sure of any of this happening, and he reveals that he knows from first-hand experience. He killed the first 5 hunters, and that curse lasted on him for 52 years. You wouldn't think anything in this world could make Klaus doubt himself, but this was a doozy. He wanted to die every minute of every day. But since Klaus is an original, killing himself without a white oak ash was impossible. He was immortal, so he had to endure the curse and almost lost his sanity because of it. Elena asks if it will ever end, and when it stopped for him, he says that it never ends. But one day it just went away. He doesn't know why, he doesn't know how, it just stopped. But she will be long dead before that ever happens. He leaves her in the room with the hybrids to guard her and takes off. One of the guards is a young hybrid named Chris. He is a packmate of Tyler and Haley, the young black guy. At the exhibit, Jeremy confides in Matt about the tattoo appearing on his hand. He's like, dude, can you see this? See what? The tattoo's on my hand, man. Ever since the hunter died, now it's on my hand. Matt's like, are you serious? He asks Matt if he can see it. Matt says no, but the look on his face seems to say, because we're not already in deep enough shit as it is. Are you freaking serious? At just that moment, April shows up. Cue up record. Cue up broken record. Again, asking Matt if he knows where Rebecca is, because she was supposed to meet up with me and blah, 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 blah.